Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. I'm not quite sure what happened in the last part. I think the last part was the Omicron Tribal Beast quest. So, in this part, because we officially finished off the Omicrons, I started to level up the rest of my gatherers, which were Botanist, finishing up Botanist, and then Fisher, which I've done that, so all my disciples of the land are now level 90s, which means we can now tackle the Studium questline, which is the Endwalker version of the Crystalline Mean quest from Shadowbringers. I almost forgot these quests existed, honestly. Until I realized I was saying, shit, these things, there's quests I still need to do. So we're gonna go through them. We're gonna start with the worst one first, which is Fisher. I've already gone through all these. I've already gone through the Fisher, and then the other one, and then the Miner and Botanist one, on my other character. So I kind of know what to expect. So Talaka, what's up, buddy? Fear the thesis. This will be a while. This took the longest because my RNG with fishing sucks. Could it be? Yes, you must be the gleaner I've heard so much about. Let me get straight to the point. What's up? You need to calm down. Oh, but where are my manners? So let me introduce myself first. My name is Talak Tia, and I'm an associate professor at the Faculty of Aetherology here. To tell the truth, I'm in a bit of a bind. I'm scheduled to make a major presentation at a conference in the near future, but as ashamed as I am to admit it, I've not been able to get enough data to properly finish my thesis. If I'm unable to prove the worth of my research, then my funding is all but certain to dry up. As you can see, the stakes are high. You have the look of an adept angler about you, am I right? If so, you could be just the person I need. This section here is one I've rented out for my work. Am I interested in taking a look? Sure. Impressive, isn't it? I bet you never laid eyes on such a fine fish tank before. Sadly, as you can see, it's entirely devoid of fish. Anyhow, I suppose I should tell you about my work. You see, I research water veins, not just any old ones, mind you, but those that carry ether. Oh shit, I skipped it. Life is naturally drawn to areas abundant in ether, which is why you might observe the proper fishing spots are often also ether-rich. My research focuses in particular on veins which carry especially high concentrations of ether, currents commonly known as spectral currents. Are you perchance familiar with the phenomenon? I am not. I've heard of it. Oh, I expect nothing less from a veteran gleaner. I must say, it's always nice to meet someone familiar with the subject of my life's work. In any event, the most important point to remember is just how important ether currents are for aquatic life. To look at it the other way, it is possible to identify how strong the local ether currents are by studying the fish and the other aquatic life in any given area. And that's where we come full circle. I require specimens of fish from various bodies of water to confirm my hypothesis regarding underwater ether currents. And there's the rub. The areas most worth researching also happen in the hardest to reach. Of course, I would not be averse to risking the journey myself if it only were my own, not for my condition. What's that? Yes, I suppose I should explain. Put simply, I have long suffered from a particular case of nasty ether sickness. Why, I can't even use Ethernet or any sort of teleportation magics. Quite annoying when your work partially depends on such things, to say the least. That sucks. I know, an aetherologist who can't stomach ether. I wouldn't believe it if were I not living this nightmare myself. Well, what can you do? But perhaps you are skeptical. I have an idea. Follow me to the Aetheroid Plaza and I'll show you just how bad I've got it. Alright, man. Let's go. And while we're there, I gotta buy some bait too. There's I believe 2 types of bait that I need: shrimp balls and leeches. Well, technically 3, but I've already got one. I've already got this from the where am I going? I can just teleport. I got those from the beast tribe. So technically I need 3 types of baits for these quests. Salmon roe, the golden salmon roe, the shrimp balls, and the leech. So hold on, before I talk to you, man. No, I lied. I think there's 4. Yeah, no. There's 4 different kinds. I lied. Gray worm. That's right. It still keeps my my search results from last night's. I'm gonna grab all these because my RNG sucks. No. Alright. That should be plenty. First one we're gonna end up using is the golden rose, so... there you are. Alright, watch closely now. Blech. Poor guy. See? I feel so queasy, it's all I can do to hold down the contents of my stomach. Poor guy. A fairy. No, it's a pixie. The whole world is spinning, so don't make it stop. Oh boy. Oh, there you have it. My condition has manifested itself all over the ground for you. I say, Talak, are you quite alright? Professor Nelly, I see your condition's as bad as ever. One would think you'd avoid a place like this. And you, are you perchance assisting Talak with his research? Yes. The boy may suffer from terrible ether sickness, but as a scholar, he has as much potential as anyone I've seen. You develop an eye for these things when you've been in academia for as long as I have. Goddamn. But I must be on my way. I very much look forward to reading your finished thesis, Talaka. Did I mention I don't handle pressure particularly well? I've barely written the introduction to my paper, and Professor Nelle is already selling up to his peers. How can I possibly live up to his expectations? Incidentally, Professor Nelle is one of the few leading authorities in the world of aetherology. Some would even say he is the equal of Master Matoya, and for some reason he seems to have taken a liking to me. He's the one who pushed for the school to allow me to form my own research team as the first in trial phase of a program to support young scholars. Otherwise, a humble associate professor such as myself would never be able to conduct such an ambitious project. Yet, I run the risk of losing everything if I don't turn my potential into actual results at the upcoming conference. Not only would my own research team be disbanded, but there's a high likelihood that Professor Nelly's program would be terminated, meaning that no other young scholar would ever again receive the opportunity I did. The very future of the study was at stake. Part of me wishes I could just drink my worries away. Sadly, I handle alcohol about as well as I handle ether. May not be good at dealing with ether and pressure, but one thing is certain: for Professor Nelly's sake, I must not fail. I cannot. Well, he's got passion. So I beg of you, pray help me. There's no one else to whom I can turn. I mean, sure. You got it rough, buddy. Leave it to me. Thank you, though, thank you. You're a shining beacon of hope for all young scholars here in Shoreland. Now let's head back to Scholars Meet, or Searchers Meet, so we can get to the task. I shall meet you back in my office. Okay, buddy. Okay, buddy. Okay, buddy. Oh, man. No shit. It actually took me a bit to remember how to fish. Remember how I did in the Shadowbringers quest. But thankfully I remember how to do it. But it's still just as annoying as I remember it being. Cecil was just compiling a list of fish I would be needing for my research. Let me know when you're ready to get fishing. I'll feel out exactly what you would do, what I would ask you to do. Sure. Faculty of Aetherology commenced! Alright, buddy. Alright then, shall we get started? To review, I require samples of aquatic life from various bodies of water that I might analyze them and ascertain the current state of the respective regions underwater ether currents. Before I send you out to far-flung locales, I'd like to get data from somewhere nearby. Collecting samples from a stable, controlled environment like Labyrinthos should give me a good basis of which to compare any future findings. To that end, I'd like you to catch me some giant aether lice, and a fair share of them, to ensure a representative sample size. According to my preliminary research, they swim in abundance near the ferratic conduit and have noted fondness for gold, salmon, and roe. Alright. We did it. We commenced. Alright, so the gist of this is you need, much like with the Crystarium, or not the Crystarium, the Crystalline Mean quest, you need 6 of whatever is requested in order to get to the next esteem level, which gives you the next quest. Major quests happen at I think major quest happens at 80, 82, or 85 and 90, I think. Yeah. And there's in-between quests that are not all that big of a deal. So for the giant ether louse, or ether lice, what I'm gonna do is, I'm not gonna actually fish them on video, but what I will do is I will go to the area where you need to fish them, tell you what you need to do, and go from there. So, I haven't been to Labyrinthos in a while. We need to go up here, right around there. God, I haven't been here in like ages. I can't remember the last time I actually went to Labyrinthos. It's been a good while. I think the last time I went there was during the Pandemonium raids. Yeah, that was it. That was the last time I was here. So fairly recently. It's still been a while, but more recent than most. All right. So, fish right here. So, the best way to get these is to put your gold salmon roe on, which you can buy from a market board, or if you have the Omicrons available, you can buy them from there. And basically just fish to your heart's content. Basically, the gist is they pop up at a weak exclamation mark, which is just one exclamation mark. So what I did was I fished, and once I got that fish, I went ahead and did identical casts, which lets you get that same fish again. So you can get two fish in one go, essentially. You need to have collect on. If you don't have collect, you're not gonna be able to get them. So once you've got your fish, use identical casts, then fish again, get your second fish, then fish normally again, hopefully get another ether louse. You can surface slab if you get a fish that you don't if you get a fish that you don't need. This prevents you from getting that particular fish again. If you want to make it easy for yourself. So pretty simple to get the fish. So once you got all 6, head back to the stadium, deliver them, and we can move on. So that's what I'm gonna do. So this might take a bit, but I will see you back in the back in the stadium when we have our 6 fish in hand. And by the way, when you get the fish, they will not mark on your quest log. Like how you gather items, you get like 1 out of 6, 2 out of 6, etc, etc. They will not mark your quest log, so even though it doesn't mark it, you still get them. You just gotta turn them in. But yeah, I'll get my 6 fish and I'll see you in the stadium. Okay, we're back. I got my 6 fish. Why that was so much easier than last night when I did it on my other character, I don't know. Maybe it was because I was just doing it for the first time and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. But that was so much easier, man. It took me like 30 minutes, maybe a little bit longer than that, to get the fish that I needed on my other character. This is pretty damn simple. So I got my fish. Identical cast is very helpful, so if you're not using identical cast, definitely make use of it, because it helps a lot. Now I failed to mention one thing: your collectability. If you want to maximize your collectability and get the best rewards possible, you want to make sure your stuff is above 166 if you want the best rewards possible. I don't care for the XP. Obviously, I don't care for the money and the scripts. And I'm fine without them. I don't need the scripts either. So if you want to maximize your rewards, make sure all your collectability stuff is above 166. The best way to do that is use patience 1, or I think it was like patience 1 or patience 2. I don't think it really matters. Then use precision hook sets. Use the precision hook set for those fish, and I believe those will have higher collectability. But since I don't really care for the collectability rating, I'm just here to complete this. We're just gonna deliver. Now this is a remarkable catch. Impressive specimens like these will give me even more quality data. I can't thank you enough. Alright. Thanks to your efforts, I've been able to compile a full set of reference data. Now we can finally get started on the spots further afield. But before that, I haven't yet explained my research to you in detail, have I? Simply put, there's a certain hypothesis I want to prove. In my studies over the years, I have come to believe that much like the tide ebbs and flows with the phases of the moon, so too do the underwater ether currents that cover our entire planet. The concentration of ether in any given changes in any given current changes, a quark left in the air grows more or less abundant, which ultimately affects the currents of the ocean itself. My hope is that, if I can prove this and accurately predict these changes, we might theoretically identify the best times for fishing, and even know when it's safest to navigate the seas. Needless to say, it would be a major breakthrough, and I'm one step closer to realizing it thanks to you. Talaka, looks like your research is progressing well. Professor Nelly, I heard your friend here that said started gathering samples for you, so I brought a few choice tones with me that might serve to point you in the right direction. As always, you're too kind, Professor. I can't thank you enough. Don't mention it. When the time comes that my research bears fruit, that will be all the thanks I need. Your mind for developing compelling hypotheses has always impressed me. You lacked only for a skilled gleaner to help you overcome the limits of your affliction. I'll be watching this new partnership of yours with great interest. Sure, man. That's a fancy crystal you have on your desk, though. I want that. Phew! why, that actually wasn't so bad. Just having you around has already taken a huge weight off my shoulders. Up until now, Professor Nelly's confidence in me only made me feel pressure to deliver something that I wasn't even sure I was capable of. But now I finally started to make some tangible progress, and it's all because of you. For the first time, I feel like I may have a bright future in academia after all. Right. Yes, I have a feeling everything is going to go swimmingly. No pun intended, as long as you're by my side. I'm all ready to go, sir. All right. Dated across the decades. Hello again. What's up, buddy? Did you notice the fish tank, by the way? What the fuck is that? It looks freaky looking. I went ahead and put one of my research specimens in it. Quite the looker, wouldn't you say? I tell you, so many things have fallen into place ever since you showed up. I'm having the time of my life analyzing all this data. I mean to continue my analysis of Aetherology, of course, but I will task another gleaner with such mundane tasks. Instead, I'd like make full use of your skills by having you visit an area I've long since been fascinated with. I speak of the oceans surrounding Thavnair. I have reason to believe there was a significant change in the etheric currents in those waters that occurred during the time of the calamity. Professor Nelly shared with me some data from 20 years prior, and I will compare it with current data to ascertain if I'm correct. Okay. Waters around Thavnair, you see, have long been one of the local focal points of Professor Nelly's research. I wish to study them more to honor his work, while also using it as a starting point for my own. Before you go, however, a word of warning. Ever since the calamity, the region is notorious for shipwrecks. I realize that you're a seasoned professional, but I fully understand that you did not want to take on the task. I almost didn't return from my voyage on the Siren Song Sea. So the rumors were true. Still, you can always fish off the island's coast. I reckon there wouldn't be much risk in that. Anyhow, I'd like you to fish the same species that Professor Nelly studied 20 years ago. To wit, the Garjana Wars. Ross? Not but yet. According to the books the professor gave me, the lake lived near the great runoff and are known to enjoy nibbling on shrimp balls. And that should do it. Be safe out there, yes? Sure, man. Sure. Alright. Great runoff is very easy to get to. Simply go to the Great Work. Remember, you need shrimp balls, so get yourself some shrimp balls, as he said, and just fish off the docks here. And pretty simple. Now, to get this fish, you want to use Patience 2, and then begin casting. Oh shit! No, it crashed on me again. God damn it, OBS. I don't know why it does this. Hang on, I can fix this. I can fix this. Deactivate and reactivate. I don't know why it does this. There we go, fixed. Didn't see anything. But anyway, you want to use Precision 2, and then you're gonna wait until you see 2 exclamation points pop up. I believe you can get two different fish with these. So if you get the one fish that you don't need, just surface slap, and that will hopefully let you get the fish that you want. But what you want to do is, when the 2 exclamation points pop up, with Patience 2, use Powerful Hook Set. And if your RNG is on your side, you get the Garjana Ross. And once you do that, you keep the collectability, and then use Identical Cast again. You'll still be under the effects of Patience 2, so you want to use the Powerful Hook Set again, and keep doing that. And then once Patience 2 runs out, you should be able to pop up a a high cordial. So actually, I should put that in my hotbar. Yeah, you should be able to pop up a high cordial and repeat the process. If you don't get any fish within the next patient's 2, you should be able to use another high cordial by the time patient 2 wears off, and just repeat the process until you have 6 Garjanas. So I'm gonna do that, and then I will be back in the study. So I'll be right back. Okay, I got my fish. Was not that bad, honestly, compared to last night. One thing I forgot to mention: when you're doing the precision with the patience and the precision or powerful hook sets, if you're trying to get a fish that's obtained through the powerful hook set, which is the 2 exclamation marks, you want to ignore all of the weak poles, which is basically the single exclamation marks. That way it saves you GP so that you can use powerful hook sets and identical casts, because patience 2 takes up a lot of GP. So you want to ignore all the fish that you don't want. So I forgot to make a mention of that. So yeah, got my fish. Enjoy your fish. Oh shit, I skipped that dialogue. Fuck me. Well, I dare say I have more than enough samples now. Pray wait for just a moment. I'm going to ask Professor Nelly to take a look. It's not every day you ask after me, Talaka. That just means that your research is coming along well. Better than I could ever imagined. As a matter of fact, I was hoping to hear your thoughts on my latest findings. Comparing my data with yours from 20 years ago, I could say with confidence that the concentration of ether in the area did indeed show an increase around the time of the calamity. From these numbers, I would posit that smaller fish species in the area have increased in abundance several-fold. The Garjana Ross, in particular, is known for protecting itself from predators by creating disturbances in the surrounding ether. A population increase of such scale would undoubtedly result in a dramatic impact on its habitat. Which would go a long way to explain the countless shipwrecks. The sheer number of these fish would surely... Oh, shit. The sheer number of these fish would surely play havoc with ships' ether compasses. Outstanding work, Talaka. Of course, more data will be needed to prove your assertions. It's a fact. Should it hold true, however, this could be a discovery of no small import. Come to think of it, I remember you showing considerable interest in my research into the seas around Thavnair. What exactly was it that drew you to my work? Oh, it's just, well, I've always found the figures somewhat unnatural. Call it a hunch, but I couldn't help but feel it warranted further research. Ah, now that's the true spirit of a scholar. Even the most is it epic or epoch? Probably epoch. The most epoch-making of discoveries often started with observation of a simple irregularity or curiosity. With that intuition and power of observation, you're going to go places, Talaka. I knew my faith in you was not misplaced. I am? You flatter me, Professor. Ha! Take care not to let it get to your head. Your potential will only be stifled if you allow yourself to be content with minor progress and faint praise. Of course, Professor. I will redouble my efforts and work harder than ever to deliver results. And on that note, I best get to work summarizing my findings for inclusion from my thesis. If I'm able to identify an explicit correlation amongst the post-calamity of change in ether concentration, the explosion of the fish population, and the increase in shipwrecks, it'll go a long way toward proving my theory correct. Of course, I'll be needing more fish specimens before that can happen. Fair warning, I might have to send you to more hazardous locales, and yet, I'm sure you're up to the challenge, yes? Sure. Splendid! I suppose this is the most invigorated I've ever felt about my research. Now, where to start? I don't know, man. Alright. Go on to the next quest. Oh, hello again. I truly can't thank you enough. The samples you provided me with me have allowed to make incredible progress in my work. As it happens, I actually just decided on the next specimen I'd ask you to procure. You see, I've essentially completed my analysis of the currents surrounding the Thab Nair. I must say, it's been most enlightening. Next, I'd have you ask you to travel to a place where we have no pre-existing data. To wit, I mean to research the currents in Garlemald. We've been able to set foot in the region. We've been unable to even set foot in the region until now, which means that gathering data there could lead to a truly revolutionary discovery. After all, we still have no idea how the underwater ether currents there are connected with those in other regions. Alas, like indeed data from years past, it wouldn't be such a simple task to identify the changes that have occurred over the decades. I do, however, have an idea how we might get around that. The answer, my friend, is shellfish. Studying the growth lines within their shells should allow me to draw some conclusions about how their habitats change over time. Sure, man. After carefully perusing Professor Nelly's tomes, I've come to the conclusion that the Garlean clams would be particularly suitable as a research specimen. Do you think you're up to the task of catching some for me? I know the place at the back of my hand. Wonderful, I'm quite confident that quality data from Garlemald is what will allow my thesis to truly begin to take shape. Ah yes, I also read that clams exist in abundance in the area around Camp Broken Glass, and that leeches are particularly effective in luring them up from the water's bottom. Pray forgive me for asking you to travel such a perilous location. Please do whatever you must to stay safe. Thanks, man. Alright. I should start mentioning the collectability. So to max out your collectability, to maximize profits, you need 184 collectability on your fish. I should start mentioning that. Now, contrary to what he said, there's actually 2 areas you can go to for the clams. But Camp Broken Glass is probably the easiest to get to. So the area that I went to, if you go way way up north to the to this water channel, you can fish in there and get your clams there. That's what I did. But you can get you can get more fish. You can get those clams. Oops. Right around 11:30. Yeah, like right around somewhere. Right around there in the watering hole. Very simple to get to. So I'm gonna try my hand at this. To get the clams, it's a weak bite. So you don't even need to use you don't need to use patience. But if you're going for the for the max out collectability rating, you might want to use patience and use the precision hook set. Then remember to use identical cast, then cast again. Make sure you're still using the precision hook set while you're under the effects of patience. Because if you're under the effects of patience 1 or 2 and you use the standard hook, you're not going to catch it. So keep that in mind. But I'm going to get my 6 fish and then I will be back at the stadium. So give me a second. Alright, we're back. I have my mic muted. I got my clams. That was a bit annoying. It took me more of a pain in the ass to get the clams this time around than it did in my other character. I ended up moving up towards the top part of the map where the stainless courses in Garlemald to get the clams, because I wasn't having any luck in that stupid pond. So, got my fish. Here are your clams. Done it! And what a remarkable sample it is. My colleagues will be burning with envy when I hear that I've obtained a specimen from Garlemald. How can I even begin to express my gratitude? I went to great lengths with those clams, so you better appreciate it. Now, you might be wondering who this is. My research has been progressing so well of late that I've brought on a few my students to serve as assistants to help me analyze all this data. At any rate, I cannot thank you enough for braving such hostile environs for my sake of my life's work. No one in my field has had the chance to obtain substantial data from Garlemald until now. It would be no understatement to say your contribution is historic. Needless to say, this puts even more pressure on me to deliver with my thesis. Oh dear, my stomach's starting to feel queasy just thinking about it. Talaka, would you believe you're the talk of the studium? Even the senior faculty can scarce wait to hear what you're able to glean about the ether currents of Garlemald. Professor! Yes, it's all thanks to Cecily here. Without her aid, I never could have procured this most invaluable specimen. Indeed. Surely I have not seen a partnership between Scholar and Gleaner bear such fruit so swiftly in a very long time. Oh, that's right. Speaking of gleaning, I meant to tell you about everything I learned about the clams you brought. I'm pleased to report that analyzing Garlean clams appears to have been the right call. Examining their growth lines, I was able to find the specimens as old as 97 years, giving me almost a full century of data to analyze. By far the most interesting thing I've noticed so far is the reverse correlation between the ether levels near Thavnair and those in Garlemald. That is to say, over a period of time, the ether concentration was high near Thavnair, it was low in Garlemald. The reverse was also true. I see. That bit of evidence would seem to corroborate your hypothesis that the planet's ether currents move in tandem with each other. Should you manage to collect data from more regions, I suspect you may very well be able to accurately predict changes in the fish population across the world. That could have remarkable implications for the future of the fishing trade. I was thinking the very same, Professor. Nothing would Nothing would give me greater joy than if my research were to bring us about a tangible improvement into people's lives. Before meeting you, I never dreamed I would make it this far, but now I feel more confident than ever that I'll be able to prove my hypothesis one day. Why, I can always see my completed thesis in my mind's eye, but I cannot afford to get complacent just yet. The most important work yet remains to be done. He's so excited. I'm pleased to see that all is progressing well, and yet, do not be surprised if there comes a time when Talaka's resolve as a researcher is tested. A time when he is forced to consider that what it is that truly drives him to engage in his work. For such times comes to all scholars, no matter how naturally gifted they may be. Should Talaka find himself at an impasse, can I trust you to lend him your support when it is needed most? It would mean the world to him. And to me. Sure. I'm in it for the long haul. Alright, man. What's next? Thanks to your selfless contributions that draw closer and closer to proving my hypothesis correct. Other clearers have also been helping me by continuing to find specimens for me in calmer waters. But I would gather the data from further and further afield, which is of course where you come in. What's up, man? Professor! Abrasi. It's not like you get so excited. Whatever's the matter. But I haven't introduced you to yet, have I? This is Abrasi. One of my new research assistants. She's been a great help in analyzing all the data you collected. I appreciate the vote of confidence, but this is no time for pleasantries. A whale has somehow wandered its way into Honest Scholar's Harbor. The harbor master requests that you come and assess the situation with all haste. Oh dear. I suppose we better be best in a hurry then. My apologies, but it seems as our work will have to wait until later. In the meanwhile, would you accompany me to the harbor? Your insight into the situation could prove most useful, most valuable. Alright, to the harbor. Like I said, all major quests are level 80, 85, and then 90. With a bunch of minor quests in between. Alright, where's this whale at? Oh, hello. That's a breed that calls the northern seas home. It's not especially rare to see them off the coast, but I've never heard of one coming so close to land as this. It smells strange. It doesn't appear to be wounded, nor have there been any notable storms of late. Whatever may have caused it to veer so far off its normal course. What indeed? At any rate, we need to move it to one of our facilities to ensure it's kept safe while we tend to its wounds it may have and study it more. I suppose we should check its ether levels as well. Ready to team for me, Abrasi? Of course, Professor. This may be quite the undertaking. My apologies, but our project will have to wait a little while longer. Let us reconvene at the scholars' searchers meet and discuss the matter further. Alright. Back to school! Oh, hello there. I'm so very sorry to keep you waiting. We just finished tending to the creature's ailments and doing some preliminary analysis. As we suspected, the whale hadn't sustained any major injuries. However, it does seem to be suffering from severe ether sickness and it's highly disoriented as a result. Needless to say, I can sympathize. The creature's ether levels are also a cause for concern, which would explain why it wound up somewhere so far from its usual habitat. That said, we're still none the wiser as to what caused all this. How goes it, Talaka? Oh, and Cecila, what a pleasant surprise. I've heard all about your predicament with the wayward whale. I don't remember you at all. Master Kites! So what's away all the pleasure? I was simply hoping to pick your brains about something I imagined it was related to your line of work. Around the same time that your larger-than-life friend wandered into the harbor, a veritable legion of fish washed ashore in Yidley near the experimental aetherite. That sounds too similar to be a coincidence. Curious behavior by aquatic life has been known to portend natural disasters. Yes. This strikes me as very related to my studies. That said, nothing I have gleaned thus far has suggested that the ether currents can change so drastically as to inflict nearby creatures with ether sickness. I have observed suggestions of the currents of the planet that follow a simple and regular rhythm, not unlike the tides. Indeed, the entirety of my research up until now has been focused on proving this point. If there has been a sudden disturbance in the underwater ether currents, then it will take some time to determine the cause. I also need to attend to the whale. When will I have time to return to my thesis? As for the whale, the study has already announced that it will be dispatching a vessel to research the ether currents in the seas near Charland. It won't benefit any of us if such incidents continue to occur, after all. If we wish to investigate the link between the two events, as Master Kite suggested, then perhaps we should pay a visit to Thabnair. An astute suggestion. You could recruit the help of one of our colleagues over there, or... Wait a minute, I believe you have the perfect woman for the job right here! Ah, sure, I'll go to Thabnair. As generous and dependable as ever! Yes, I knew you'd be up to the task. I would accompany Cecila. You would? When was the last time you even ventured outside the studying's grounds? That's not important. Sessa has the res life and limb to help me with my research. I can't just keep leaving all the hard work to her. But Professor, going to XIV means you have to travel via aetherite. Or by ship. Not that you handle any of that any better. You don't have to tell me that. Still, time is of the essence. Besides, I'll never be truly respected as a researcher if I don't go out and get my hands dirty from time to time. I've let my fears rule me for far too long. Today is the day I conquer them. Well, it's clear you're not going to change your mind. At least try not to cause Sessa too much trouble. Now that you mention it, I hadn't consulted you on the matter. Sessa, do you mind if I join you this time? Sure. Don't mind if I do. Fantastic! In that case, I shall see you in the Italy. Alright, man. Hopefully you don't get seasickness or something. To Yidley! Poor guy. Sessa, is that you? So you know this fellow. The poor man was so ill I thought he might die. I not believe anyone could suffer from such severe ether sickness if I hadn't seen it myself. Be glad you weren't here to see me immediately after I arrived. I was leaving less a pretty sight than what you had witnessed at the Aetherology Plaza back in Charlayan. Poor guy. And don't get me started on the most ghastly visions I saw. Countless replicas of myself dancing and singing and spinning. All the spinning, make it stop. Poor guy. Feel bad for him. I suggest you lie down for a while still, friend. It wasn't so long ago that you were convulsing on the ground, spitting up some ghastly bile. You're right, my friend. My apologies for making you worry so. I'm truly sorry about this, Sessa. Might you be still kind of ask around while I rest here a little bit more? Poor guy. Poor guy. Hello. I've never seen anything like it. The entire schools of fish suddenly washing up ashore. There's so many you couldn't see a single grain of sand. Our fishes have their hands full trying to clean up the mess even as we speak. Troublingly, we have no idea what caused it. It's not as if anything ominous occurred to portend such an event. Why, the night before was peaceful as always. The full moon shining bright in the night sky. Now that you mention it, there was one thing out of the ordinary earlier the day before the fish appeared. The river that runs here from the shroud of the Samga was swelling like mad. The seawater flowed back into the river, and some say they saw it carrying fish deep into the woods. Alright, hey man, how you feeling? Oh wait, I gotta talk to one more person. You think this is a lot of fish? You should have been here earlier. This is a massive improvement, believe you me. No need time to rest though. If they start rotting, the stench alone will be enough to make the whole town ill. What's especially bizarre is that these fish don't stay away from land altogether. Safer when they go up rivers to lay their eggs, that is. Anyhow, I've never seen or smelled anything like it in my life, and I hope I never do it again. Yeah, I can relate. Rotting fish smells not a good thing to smell, especially if it's if there's like a lot of dead fish. My apologies for making you go along, friend. I still can't quite stand up straight, but I feel much better than when I arrived. Tell me, were you able to learn anything of interest about the townspeople? A full moon the night before and a strong tide flowing up into the river. It would seem this was what we call a tidal bore. The fact that these fish are typically not seen near the coast is strangely reminiscent of our whale problem as well. No, this cannot be a mere coincidence. The manner of these fish that were supposedly carried upstream to the river intrigued me as well. Assuming they're still alive, that would provide much more useful data than those rotting corpses on the beach. If we were to analyze them, find them in a similar etheric state as a whale and Charlayan, we should safely conclude that both events were caused by the same, or at least a similar, phenomenon. I'm terribly sorry to impose upon you again, but could you catch those fish for me? They might very well be the key to solving this mystery. From the fisherman's description, swimming upstream, you said? I suspect they were looking for the Alnarian salmon. If so, those leeches you use in the clams and garland mold should serve you well today. Okay, leeches again. So we want to go to Palaka Stand. Palaka Stand. It's not that far from Palaka Stand. In fact, it's like right along this river. The Shroud of the Sangha. Alright, so to get the fish, it's gotten from the oh shit, I can't remember if it's a weak bait or not. Shit, I can't remember. Let me try. Got a phone call. Alright, I forgot, we're not collecting fish, so you don't need to worry about collectibles or precision or powerful hook set, as you saw. Sorry, I was on the phone. I loathe to impose that you must go into the woods and catch those fish. Okay, here you go. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. Oh, thank the gods! And thank you, my friend. I would have hated to go home without nothing but the memory of my worst bout with ether sickness ever. I'm happy to report that I also made some progress myself. I had a word with the alchemists who helped me, and it turns out that they have a keen interest in ether as well. We had an exchange of views that was most stimulating. I may not have been able to do much while here, but I'm glad I made the effort to lead the study for once. Now it's time we return so I can make use of this new knowledge and analyze the samples you so kindly reeled in for me. Alas, while we may not need to use that god's awful experimental aetherite to travel back, an aetherite is still an aetherite. Heavens have mercy. Oh boy. I wish you luck, buddy. I wish you luck. Alright. Back to Charlayan. To the study we go. Oops. Hey man, did you make it back in one piece? Good to see you return. Needless to say, the trip was a rough one for me. Thankfully, it wasn't nearly as uncomfortable as that dreadful experimental aetherite. I've just about finished analyzing the fish you caught in Thavnair. As expected, their ether levels are almost identical to those of the wayward whale. So, you believe that a sudden change in the concentration of ether in the nearby currents caused them to completely alter their behavior? Precisely. That said, the change was of such magnitude that I would struggle to explain it with my initial hypothesis of etheric tides. On the contrary, if such changes are possible, then I may have to reconsider my premise altogether. Moreover, we can't safely return to the whale of sea until we know precisely what is the root of this problem. The tidal bore holds the answer. Yes, I do remember considering that when you shared the people's tales with me. If we posit the underwater ether currents are affected by the moon, such as the tide itself, then any sudden change in the moon's state would naturally affect underwater ether levels as well. Recent changes in the moon? By the skull, that's it! The destruction of Zodiark would have freed an unfathomable amount of ether from within the moon. It would only be logical if this had an impact on the underwater ether currents. This is the explanation, and my initial theory may yet be viable, with this recent outpouring of ether being the exception that proves the rule. You'll need to watch closely for any similar incidents in the near future. Talaka, word has that you braved the journey by ether to do some fieldwork in Thavnair. Did you find aught of interest there? I see. And a word of advice, if I may. Any research worth the salt must be prepared to rethink and reevaluate their theories when presented with new evidence. Have you any new thought of how you might adapt yours? My initial theory was, to a degree, I predicted on the existence of Zodiark. Now that he is no more, I'm not entirely sure how he might. Unless we could. Yes, that's it. We could examine a species altogether from a time when the heavens were free of Zodiark and other entities of high etheric concentration. Professor, please, there's no time for idle jests. I'm perfectly serious. Why, I have complete confidence that Cessa here will be able to find what we require. I do not doubt her skills, but even the best of cleaners would struggle to find specimens of species that have doubtless died out ages ago. I'll give you little faith. Our friend Cessa is more than up to the task. Isn't that so, Cessa? Don't worry, I got a method. Now that's a spirit, Talaka. A good scholar must consider every possible option, even those that might seem impossible. Keep pondering the matter, and I have no doubt you'll arrive at an answer ere long. Oh my god. Okay. Oh, hello there. I've been racking my brains trying to come up with new ideas, but last nothing has come to me thus far. No matter how much I ponder, I keep coming back to the same thought. I had to get my hands on some specimens from a time before Zodiark came to be. I simply can't accept that all the work we have put into confirm my theory might amount to naught in the end. You know what? Give me an idea you got, no matter how outlandish it may seem. Please, Cecil, I'm in dire need of inspiration. So all I need is ancient fish, right? You'd be surprised what I can do. Oh, but you... Wait. Do you truly mean it? I got a method. As a scholar, I would love to probe deeper into the details of exactly how you mean to do this. But this is hardly time for idle chatter. If you can indeed procure the sample for me, I beg of you, please do it. Why, this could very well be the solution to what I thought an insurmountable problem. Ideally, I would examine an ancient specimen that shares some common traits with creatures that still exist today. Reading through Professor Nelly's tomes, I remembered that a species called the smart. I can't say that word. Smart. Oh my god. I'm just called the Smurf. The Smurf would be perfect. I can't even. Smarg. I don't know. I'm gonna stop trying. I know not where you mean to find them, but I wish you safely and good fortune in your journey. Fuck. Okay, I'm gonna find some Smurfs. Sky Spoon Lure. You do not need a Sky Spoon Lure, even though the quest tells you to get a Sky Spoon Lure. Leeches work just fine. Where we want to go is Elpis. And where we want to go over here is you want to go to Leaf. Anywhere in Leaf. Where's Leaf? Right here. Anywhere in here. So, let's go over there. Doesn't matter where in Leaf you go, just anywhere around there. I always like this area. It's always nice. It kind of reminds me of what was that one area in Final Fantasy XI? I can't remember what that place is called. Not Dynamis, but I can't remember what it was called. Probably because of the fact I never actually got to do it myself. All right, so yeah, anywhere in Leaf will do. So. If you have the Sky Spoon lures, you can use those if you want to, but you do not need them. Leeches work just fine. So in order to get these guys, it is the powerful hook set. So use position 2. Use your powerful hook set when you get the 2 exclamation marks. If you get the fish that you're looking for, use identical cast. You may not have enough GP to use identical cast right away after you use precision or patience 2, because it costs quite a lot. So just remember to use identical cast whenever you can. So I'm gonna get my 6 fish and then I will be right back. So yeah. All right, I got my 6 fish. That was a little annoying. So I got them. Ran out of fucking leeches, so I had to go buy some sky spoon lures because I couldn't buy any more leeches. Oh, here you go, man. Here's your leeches, or your whatever the fuck these things are. Skip your dialogue. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Cecil, I've just finished my preliminary analysis of the Smurfs, and needless to say, it has proved truly fascinating. Incidentally, I recently overheard some of the senior members of the faculty discussing the days before the road was sundered. This led me to wondering how far back you traveled. I've long heard rumors of a collective goblin scientists who are attempting to traverse the fabric of time itself. I remember that, Alexander. To be honest, I always thought it was a mere jest. But is it possible you use such a method to journey to the past yourself? But I'll not ask you to reveal your secrets. Not now. You provided me with exactly what I needed to break this impasse in my research, and I must seize the opportunity. At any rate, examining the relative states of the Smurf scales, it appears quite evident that the levels of ether in the underwater currents fluctuate regularly, even those in pre-Zodiac days. That said, the shifts in concentration appeared much gentler compared to the present day. I suspect that the inflated ether levels of the moon caused by the presence of Zodiac are the key to explain this change. Put simply, these recent incidents have manifested with ether levels returned to how they once were so very long ago. Frankly, I should be elated. This effectively proves my hypothesis is correct. However, something does not sit right with me. I feel like I must do more than just identify what is happening. How can I sit around in my office poring over specimens and tomes while these poor sea creatures are suffering? The next whale might very well come ashore to its doom like the fish in Thavnair.
Oh, thank you for coming for us, Professor Nelly. I'm most pleased to see that with Cecil's help, I believe I will finally be able to finish my thesis. This is to say that you truly were able to obtain a specimen from ancient times. Impressive. Yes, most impressive indeed. Truth be told, the senior faculty of the study have been aware of this form of travel for some time now. Sadly, as much as I argued your case, I was strictly forbidden from granting you access to it. Fortunate you already have Cessa at your side. With your diligence and aptitude and her unparalleled gleaning skills, I'm expecting greater and greater things from your thesis. I knew it! So if I am promoted to full professorship, I might gain access to that knowledge as well? Then I must work even harder toward that goal. Is your desk getting more and more crystals? Because I want one of those. And yeah, at the same time, I find myself with a dilemma. Is it not selfish of me to focus entirely on my research at a time like this? Is it not my duty as a scholar to help in a more concrete manner? Very astute questions. And questions for which you must find an answer on your own. Of course, none would object if you were to publish your findings. You've done more than enough to support up-and-coming researchers at the study of, and your work will doubtless prove a fine starting point for any who wish to explore the subject further. There are plenty of academics who are driven wholly by their own curiosity, who devote their entire lives to their studies and research for its own sake. However, there is also demand for another type of researcher, one who uses their findings to seek out tangible solutions to the problems of our world. Your research has brought you face to face with innocent creatures in peril, and united you with a brave companion who has traveled to the edge of the world and beyond for you. It is a little surprised that you might find a new motivation from their presence. Yet, at the end of the day, it is your choice to make. You must decide what inspires you most as a scholar. That is all I can say. As always, Professor Nell has given me much to ponder. Up until now, I simply enjoyed solving the mysteries of the world through my research. Only now have I begun to realize there may be more to it than that. Forgive me, but I would like to consider the matter further. Might I be able to count on you in your aid once my mind is made up? I swear, I feel there are no limits to what I might achieve as long as you're by my side. Sure. Sure, man. A fantastic fisher. Oh boy. Alright, the last quest for the Aetherology. Cessa, it's always a pleasure to see you. I fear I haven't quite made up my mind regarding the issue we discussed last time. Please don't be overly concerned. I fully intend to finish my writing my thesis for the upcoming conference. At the same time, I can't stop thinking about what Professor Nelly said. In fact, I was just thinking I'd head to Tranquility to be alone with my thoughts for a while. Would you mind joining me a bit later? An exchange of ideas might do me well. Sure. Sure, man. Where's that again? Oh, it's down there. So let's say, where's that again? Because I don't remember. Alright. There he is. Ah, thank you for coming. Nice little spot to relax. Do you recall how Professor Nelly encouraged me to consider what path would most inspire me? I was thinking it over and it occurred to me. Had I not met you, I doubtless would have continued to use my ether sickness as an excuse to stay cooped up and studying forever. Likely, I would have succumbed to the weight of expectations and given up on my research entirely. Thanks to you, however, I was able to obtain the data I had so long sought, and now my thesis is nearly complete. For that, you have my eternal thanks. And yet, I am now struck with the profound feeling that I must do more. I must seek even greater heights. But I suspect my colleagues would laugh at me out of the room if they heard this, but I have a mind to obtain data from the moon itself. If I can only get my hands on that, I'm confident that I could find a way to stabilize the ether currents, and in doing so, save the poor creatures of the sea from their suffering. I can help with that. Yes, there's no time to rest on my laurels. There's not much more that must be done. Of course, I'll hardly be able to accomplish this on my own. What do you say? Will you lend me your help one last time? I can hardly turn it down now, can I? Oh, thank you! I promise this will be the last request I make of you. As for precisely what I would have you procure, this is where it gets a bit complicated. Normally I would reference the tomes of Nemenin, but as one might expect, well, none of them cover the ecosystem of the moon. Perhaps you might seek advice from those who reside in Mar Lamentorum? If anyone could tell you what's worth catching, I suppose it would be them. Sure. In the meanwhile, I shall focus on writing my thesis. I cannot wait to see what sort of exotic specimen you find for me this time. I'm so excited. Perhaps one of the knowledgeable operates of best ways Burrow could point you in the right direction. Alright, to the moon! To the moon! To the moon! Alright. Oh, hello there, Cecila. What brings you here today? Oh, you don't say. That strikes me as a rather curious thing to be researching, but to each their own, I suppose. At any rate, I do believe the most representative specimen of the aquatic ecosystem here is a fish called the lunar lamenter. They're quite plentiful in the waters of Vallis vulners. They're known to have a fondness for gray worms, which we suspect is one of the reasons they taste so atrocious. I believe you won't find any of our chefs complaining if you take home your fair share. That said, it's most surprising to hear that the destruction of Zodiac has impacted your world, so do be careful down there, yes? Alright. Thanks for the warning, buddy. Be a bit fast if I go back to the starting area of this place. So, the place we're going to is should be right should be close by. I believe it's down here. We're on this little ledge into the cave. Right here. Now you need gray worms, so get yourself some gray worms. It is a powerful, it is a strong bite, so you want to use powerful hook set. You only need one, so the quest probably implies to catch more than one, but you only need one, and they're not that hard to get. So let's see if I can get it. Will I be lucky? Probably not, because my luck sucks. Be hopeful I get it though. It's so relaxing. Do I get it? There it is. You only need one. The quest isn't marked as complete, but don't worry about that, you're fine. So long as you have one, that's all you need. Hey man, I got your fish. Is this even a fit? What the fuck is this thing? It looks like a weird looking stingray. Incredible! So this is the sort of creature that dwells in the lunar seas. I can't wait to dig in and start examining it. While there's no telling until I see the data, I'm quite confident this discovery will allow me to revise my theory and complete my thesis. I'll be making my presentation at the phenomenon, but to be honest, I've never been very good at talking in front of the senior faculty. Might you be so kind as to come and sit in the audience? Just knowing that I had a friend among the audience would go a long way in putting my heart at ease. Normally, only the faculty and the students are allowed to attend such events, but I'll have a word with the administrators. Given all that you contributed to my research, I can see no reason you shouldn't be permitted to attend. Alright, sure. Give the guy some support. Guy's been through a rough time. Now you must be Professor Talakatia's guest. Please go right on in. I do believe your friend's presentation is about to get underway. Thank you for assembling here today, everyone. I'm Talakatia, an associate professor here at the Faculty of Aetherology, and today I'd like to present some findings from our research on ether currents. Deep breaths, buddy. You can do it. My presentation is entitled Ether Tide on the waxing and waning of ether levels in underwater currents. Simply put, my hypothesis was thus. The world's underwater ether ebb and flow in tandem. When the concentration of ether drops in one area, it rises in another. This phenomenon repeats itself periodically. Long did I believe this was so, but never was I able to accumulate sufficient data to prove it for certain. Now, this has all changed recently thanks to the efforts of a truly remarkable gleaner who risked life and limb to gather the samples I needed. In the course of my research, however, I also discovered many things which I had never imagined at the outset. First and foremost among these was the ether zodiac exerted upon those self-same currents. Now, as you all know, zodiac is no more. As such, ether levels have temporarily fluctuated across our entire star as the etheric state of our world gradually readjusts to how it was in the days of yore before zodiac came into being. Having the fortune recently to analyze some samples obtained from the lunar surface, it was becoming apparent that this fluctuation in ether levels was at its most dramatic during the full moon. We have reason to suspect that the recent incident with the wayward whale was also caused by the self-same phenomenon. In other words, a sudden change in the local ether levels caused it to suffer from symptoms akin to severe ether sickness. He's doing good. Needless to say, this would be all more speculation if it were not corroborated by concrete data. To that end, I kindly turn to the page 14 of the booklets I have handed out and take a moment to peruse a chart on that page. Alright, man. Doing well so far. Quite fascinating. Many scholars stubbornly stick to their initial convictions despite the circumstances, but you have clearly taken even the most recent developments into consideration in fleshing out your thesis. Admirable indeed. You're too kind, Professor, but yet there is more I would share. Utilizing my own findings in combination with some alchemic techniques I learned from my colleagues in Thabnair, I do believe I've crafted a spell that might help to stabilize the underwater ether currents. More so than my academic findings, I believe this to be my greatest accomplishment. Isolating the relationship between the moon and the underwater ether currents was an important first step, no doubt, but helping those suffering creatures will be of far greater import in the end. Our planet is currently in a state of transition. I suspect the imbalance in the ether levels will continue for quite a while still. Since so, I intend to do everything in my power to minimize the effects of this on both beast and man until our etheric environment stabilizes and returns to normal. Thank you, Talakatia. I shall inform you of your evaluation in due time. In the meanwhile, pray continue to attend to the poor beast in the harbor. We wish you the best of luck. Thank you, Professor. Let's say all went well. whale. Oh, look at him, his new fancy duds. There you are. Simply had a table for anyone else. My colleagues couldn't stop praising my thesis, and to say that I could never gotten to this day without your help would be an understatement. Not only have I secured more funding to continue my research, I've also been promoted to a full-fledged tenured professor. I simply cannot believe the day has come to where I can wear this prestigious gown. Why, I've dreamed of this since the very first day I set foot in the studium. Looks good on you. You're far too kind. I still got a long way to go before I'd be worthy of this garb in the way that, say, Professor Nelly is. I always believed in Talaka's potential, but I dare say he would have been hard-pressed to fulfill it were it not for his fortuitous meeting with you, Cecila. For that, I, too, owe my thanks. Oh, and this is neither here nor there, really, but I received some rather delightful news recently from the Faculty of Medicine. What seemed the professor there was, in researching methods of treating the whale, has developed an experimental medicine that can lessen the effects of ether sickness. Even more fortunately, it is said to work even better on men than on beasts. Yes, with this new medicine at my disposal, I can finally take responsibility of my own field work and stop forcing the generous gleaners such as yourself to travel in my stead. Just think of all the places I'll go. Distant lands, the open sea, why, maybe even the moon. I simply can't wait to really stretch my legs and explore the world. He's so excited. And with that, I'd best be off. This isn't farewell. Not by a long shot. I have no doubt our paths will cross again somewhere upon some distant sea. I thank you once again for everything, my friend. So excited. I'm standing here in this new gown, but to be honest, it still hasn't all sunk in. Congratulations, Talakatia. You have come far indeed, and you've earned every bit of it through your diligence and dedication. I'm glad I am for it. For now, I've seen you realize the potential I always knew you had. I can finally retire from my heart at ease. Retire? Professor Nelly, what are you saying? No need to act so surprised. I've been considering it for quite some time now. I'm no spring chicken, and there's little reason for me to cling to my position when promising researchers like you wait in the wings. Of course, I'll continue to share my experiences with you if you so desire, but finding that which most inspires you and pursuing it with all your body and soul, this is something you must do for yourself. I have already imparted all I can. You were able to find this in yourself in no small part through your chance encounter with Cecila. I was happy to be there for you along the way, but I dare say you'll fare well enough without me. But, Professor, the future of aetherology is bright indeed as long as young talents like yourself continue your research here. And so I very much look forward to hearing about your myriad achievements as I enjoy my golden years. And if you ever need a conversation, pray visit that we might muse about the mysteries of the world, not as teacher and student, but as colleagues and friends. That would be delightful, Professor. I could not have asked for a greater parting gift than your vote of confidence. And thank you again, Cecila. I will be continuing my research here at the studium, so do drop by whenever you care to talk aetherology with a friend. Likewise, I look forward to hearing more about your adventures in the far-flung lands you've been exploring. And perhaps if you happen to come across any exotic species of fish, you could snag one or two from me? Just for old time's sake. Alright, we're done! I won't be doing that, but... Alright. Do that. The esteemed contributor of the Faculty of Aetherology, I am done with one of the deals. Alright, and that is the first stadium quest of 5 to take down. We got 4 left to do. Next time we will do the minor botanists share the same one, so we'll do that, and then we'll be on hold until I'm able to do the crafter ones. So, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next part. Later.